spiritual home and community is more important now than ever. So thank you for taking the time out to nourish yourself and nourish the rest of us and nourish me because I need you I need this community just as much as you do. We really don't have any announcements this morning except for one. Many of you know that the first or second Sunday after the new year, I do a top 10 religious news story sermon. And I'm going to move that to the 24th of January. So you can look forward to that. I've done most of the research and I'll be ready to go. And so please come to that service, as well as next week when Emily Bruce, our beloved Emily, is leading the service on Sunday on MLK weekend. So grab your chalice, the usual stuff, grab your chalice. We're recording things. There'll be coffee hour after worship is complete. And if you're new joining us this morning, very glad to have you. And Dara always puts a welcome card in the chat box. So you can use that so we can connect you more with what's going on here at UUIC. That's all I have, friends. So we're going to go. We've been doing this now for many months. You can choose to join a small group just to say good morning to someone you know or maybe don't know.
Open my heart, 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 open my heart.
I invite you to join us in our opening words that will be shared on the screen. I will lead the part that says minister, and please join with Jen Brown in the part that says people. Cast your vision here, in the middle of the hardest moment, into the world as it is.
With threats of violence realized once again, and this time a capital besieged, a world whose fragility has been exposed again.
Cast your vision here at the turning of a new year, a turning full of promise and trouble still, while the memory lingers of holidays chaotic and miraculous into this day.
Offer the vision you've tried to talk yourself down from, your wildest dream, your audacious aim, the beauty that whispers to you to follow and build and become.
In a world coming undone by fear and greed and distraction, divided by made-up borders between people and the sowing of distrust.
Here, stir up your steadfast hope, your resolute clarity of all that is still possible. Be generous with your dreaming and brave.
All paths to the future are born in this courage of imagination.
This willingness to shed, to salvage, to start again.
The willingness to be this blessing for each other, to be this blessed. Thank you. And please join us in singing our opening hymn, May Nothing Evil Cross This Door. The words are in your chat box and Sarah will lead us.
May nothing shall walk softly through these roads, touching our lips with holy wine, till every casual corner blooms into a shrine. With laughter drown the raucous shout, and though these sheltering walls are thin, may they be strong to keep hate out and hold love in.
We'll now introduce the Kempners to lead our chalice lighting and our covenant.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another.
Well, good morning, everybody. Now is the time for our Wonder Box, and I have a story to share with you all today, and it's not in our box, it's on our screen. So I'd like to invite any of the kids who'd like to see our story or any of the grown-ups to get close to the screen so you can see it. And let me just pull it up. Here we go. Can you all see it? Great. So this is the outside page, the inside page, I suppose. And I'm looking at everybody here and they all seem a little worried. This story is called The Breaking News. Why? There we go. Whoop. Okay. I remember when we heard the bad news. They're all at their kitchen table and the TV's on, but nobody's paying attention. Oh, and now it's changed. Suddenly, Mom is glued to the television. Dad can't stop checking his phone. They whisper and I pretend not to hear. It is more than a little scary. Mom forgets to tuck me in. Dad is too tired for bedtime stories. It seems like everyone else feels it too. Here's the character on the school bus. Seems like a lot of other people are worried here too. At school, my teacher says to look for the helpers. Even when the news is bad, you can still find good people trying to make things better in big and small ways. I want to help in a big way. I decide to put on the funniest show ever to make everyone laugh. But the grown-ups don't feel like laughing. I tell them about the force fields I'll invent to keep us all safe, but their smiles are tiny and sad. I try to be on my best behavior all the time, to be so, so good, but they hardly even notice. I think maybe there is nothing I can do to help in a big way. I feel small. So maybe I can try to do just one small thing. Looks like our character has an idea. And maybe another, and another, and one more. Small things don't solve everything. The bad news is still there after all. But then again, so are we. And look at all these neighbors. They're all outside with their plants. That's the end. So I wanted to talk this morning with our children specifically about the big and scary news that happened this week. And I know that some of you may know a little bit about it and some of you may know a lot. But what I want everyone to know is that the grown-ups in your life are doing everything we can to keep you safe. And we also need all of your help to help make the world a kinder and safer and more loving place. And part of what people are so upset about this week is the ways that we've seen people with white skin, like mine, lighter skin, get treated differently. And when we say that, I mean they were treated better than people who have darker skin have been treated. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that, because that is based on a lie that many people in our country believe. And sometimes we call that lie racism, and sometimes we call that lie white supremacy. And that lie says that people with lighter skin are better than people with darker skin. And as Unitarian Universalists, I want you to hear from your church that that's a lie. And that when you hear us say Black Lives Matter, what we're saying is that that's a lie, and that white supremacy and racism need to be named for the lies that they are. But the good news is that there are things that we can all do to tell the truth about love and justice instead of the lie that is racism. And some of the things that we can do at any age are that we can learn more about the lie of racism. We can learn where it came from. We can learn why people are believing this lie. We can learn how this lie has been built over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Other things that we can do at any age is that we can protest when the lie of racism has consequences in the world. Sometimes those consequences are about who lives in better housing. Sometimes those consequences are about who the police treat more kindly. Sometimes those consequences are about who has money or who has access to money and who doesn't. So we can protest the ways that that lie shows up in our world. We can also notice the ways that the lie of racism shows up in the ways that people make decisions or act in the world. And we can help tell people that racism is a lie. And those are some really important things that we can do. Starting from when we're very little, we can learn about the ways that the lie has shaped our country, and we can tell people this is not true. This is not the truth of love and justice, and this is a lie. And we're going to try to learn more about that and undo that. So if you are a grown-up with little ones in your life, this week I charge you to talk with the kids in your life about the lie that is white supremacy. It is really, really important to talk about this. And if you are a kid, I want you to talk with your grown-ups about any questions you might have about this lie or about what happened this week, because your grown-ups are here to help you understand more about the world. And it's really important. You can ask these questions. These are important questions to ask. And part of what the lie has told us is that it's not okay to ask these questions. And I want you to hear that it is okay to ask these questions. So I invite all of you to talk a little bit in your families this week about the ways that the lie of white supremacy and racism has shown up in the world, and to maybe learn just one thing that you didn't know before about how this has shaped our world. Because I have been learning a lot in my grown-uphood, and I bet that the grown-ups in your life are also still learning. And I think that it's really important that we all keep learning and growing and telling the truth together. So thank you for being part of helping to make this world a kinder and more loving and more safe place for everyone. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. And we'll shift into our prayer now.
Good morning, friends. This is a time, as we all know, of so much heightened attention, frustration, heightened anxiety. So as we are moving now into a time for meditation, for song and prayer, do what you can to shift your attention, settle your mind for a moment, settle your body, find a center, relax your hands, which may have been like this for days, who knows. Close your eyes and relax the skin of your face. Let things just relax. And let's all take a deep breath together. In and out. I invite you to keep breathing deeply or join in singing this call to prayer that's going to begin now. There will be a light.
There will be, there will be, there will be a light. There will be a light. There will be, there will be, there will be a light. There will be a light. There will be, there will be, there will be a light. There will be a light. There will be, there will be, there will be a light. There will be a light.
Hello, everyone. As we enter this time of prayer and meditation, you are all invited to lift up the prayers that are on your heart this morning, to share them with this community so that they and you may be held in this community of love and support and belonging. So using our chat box, I invite you first to lift up your prayers for your loved ones. What are the prayers for those that you hold dear, whether they're in the same room with you right now or scattered across the country or the world? What are the prayers you hold this morning for your loved ones? For Bob, who's suffering with COVID and pneumonia. For a friend's dog, Kiwi. I lift up prayers for the memorial service that we held yesterday for Tom Belote, the beautiful, beautiful service that so many attended. For family members working with COVID patients, for Bob and Celia, for an aunt, Mary King, for Dan Crawford as he has a procedure at MGH this coming Monday. Prayers for Patty, whose mother died, for Paxton, who tested positive for COVID, for a dear friend, Heather, who is in lockdown in London, for our 90-year-old mothers, for Dot Widmeyer, for Peter suffering from Parkinson's, for our grandchildren, For friends struggling with complications from COVID and dialysis. For dad who's in an isolated unit with COVID while mom's dementia rapidly worsens. That our grandchildren not grow up with hate. For a mom awaiting back surgery, for a friend diagnosed with lymphoma, for all those suffering from mental health challenges. For Naomi and her mom, Barbara, and all they do for the ones that they love. As these prayers continue to roll in, please also, now I invite you to lift up prayers for our world. As we all know from the events of the last week, our world is broken and in need of prayer. So I ask you now to lift up the prayers that are on your heart for our world this morning. That we learn from the upset this week. For those who keep on loving, praises to all the light still in the world. For those suffering in this country, people who are Black, brown, white, and yellow. For a revolution of tolerance and kindness. For our new president and vice president-elect. For justice, for strength, for conviction, to the brave legislators who continued with their work after the mob assault on the Capitol. For all those afraid of what may happen next. For love and listening as well as justice. For healing, for moral leadership. For all to learn and practice empathy and love. For peace, equity, and inclusion. With all of these prayers for our world that are rolling in, I also ask you, what are your prayers of thanksgiving? For what are you grateful this morning? For what are you thankful? What brings you joy on this sunny and beautiful morning during this very dark time in our country? What do you want to lift up in thanks this morning? For this community, for neighbors, for friends and family, for the voters in Georgia, for dry roads making frosty bike rides possible, for acts of kindness, for our family being close, friends, more sun and less snow, yes, for being alive in a new day, for children who are visiting, children's birthdays, for family, for chickadees at the feeder, for our mom and aunt at 92 and 100 years old who got their COVID vaccines this week. I will add to that, my 77-year-old parents received their first vaccine yesterday, and I'm very grateful for that, for courage, for FaceTiming with grandsons, for the love we feel from UUAC. I think we can all share in that prayer of Thanksgiving today. For hope, for the book club and long walks with my dog, for the beautiful trails in Natick and all of the beauty of nature. Friends, thank you for lifting up all these prayers of Thanksgiving. As we turn to a time of prayer this morning, we lift up these words from one of our UU ministerial colleagues, the Reverend Elizabeth Nguyen. Please hear this prayer for protection that she offers for our world today. For Black, Indigenous, Muslim, Latina elected officials, for the residents of Washington, D.C., for each of us who has ever been handcuffed or tear gassed or afraid of police or white supremacists or our government. For each of us who is afraid every day for ourselves or our loved ones or our children or this country. May we be protected. May we be protected from generations of violence and hate, from pandemic and sickness and fear. May we be protected not because we have earned it, but because of the generous grace of justice and spirit. And may those of us who can be protectors protect. Be pourers of tea for ourselves and others, builders of power for love for ourselves and others. Reminders to breathe and eat and fight and tend, to rest and risk so we may all be protected. And in our doubt and our stress, may we rest in the air and the earth and the sky that have seen governments come and go, despots and haters come and go, that hold our bones and our breath with sacredness and survival. Words from the Senator-elect Reverend Raphael Warnock. Will we play political games while real people suffer? Or will we win righteous fights together, shoulder to shoulder? Will we seek to destroy one another or heed the call towards the common good, building together what Dr. King called the beloved community? May it be survival and justice. May it be shoulder to shoulder. May it be beloved community. This is our prayer. May it be so. Amen. Let us now be still together.
Many thanks to Kathleen Castellanos for our meditation interlude. That was Hurt, famously covered by Johnny Cash. Our reading this morning will be shared by Jeff Brown and Jen Ryan Brown, no relation. Jeff and Jen.
Our reading this morning is Let America Be America Again, a poem by Langston Hughes, a central figure in the Harlem Renaissance, the 1920s flowering of Black American intellectual, literary, and artistic life across a number of US communities, particularly New York City.
Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me.
Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great strong land of love, where never kings connive, nor tyrants scheme, that any man may be crushed by one above. It never was America to me.
Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free.
Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery's scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak.
I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed.
I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker sold to the machine. I am the Negro, servant to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean. Hungry yet today, despite the dream. Beaten yet today. Oh, pioneers! I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker, bartered through the years.
Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sing. In every brick and stone, in every furrow turned, that has made America the land it has become.
Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy lea, and torn from black Africa's strand I came to build a homeland of the free.
The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today? The millions shot down when we strike? The millions who have nothing for our pay? For all the dreams we've dreamed, and all the songs we've sung, and all the hopes we've held, and all the flags we've hung. The millions who have nothing for our pay, except the dream that's almost dead today.
Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me. Who made America? Whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain must bring back our mighty dream again? Sure, Call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain.
From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again, America. Oh, yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath.
America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we, the people, must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains and the endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America, America again.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jen, for that powerful reading. Friends, in this week of insurrection and violence, in this week when our democracy was under literal attack from within our own borders, in this week when the Confederate flag was held high by rioters in our Capitol building, we as Unitarian Universalists must answer the call to dismantle hatred and white supremacy in our nation, now more than ever. Today, we are sharing our plate with the Southern Poverty Law Center. Founded in 1971 to ensure that the promise of the civil rights movement became a reality for all, they serve as a catalyst for racial justice in the South and beyond, working in partnership with communities to dismantle white supremacy, strengthen intersectional movements, and advance the human rights of all people. Despite the Southern part of their name, an important part of their work is tracking the activities of hate groups across our nation, exposing those activities to law enforcement, to the media, and to the general public. And per their own research, the number of hate groups in the US has risen by 55% since 2017. They also track hate groups within and across state lines. And in Massachusetts, they tracked a total of 15 hate groups in 2019, including white nationalist, anti-Muslim, anti-gay, and neo-Nazi groups, headquartered in Boston, Framingham, and Hopkinton, among other locations. The Southern Poverty Law Center stands up for the powerless, the exploited, and other victims of discrimination and hatred. In a statement from their president, Margaret Huang, about this Wednesday's siege on the US Capitol, she states, quote, "One of the most powerful lessons we must take away from this week's coup attempt is that 2021 is not a time for half measures in the fight against hate and extremism. It is up to all of us to build a nation in which all communities can thrive, a nation that lives up to its highest ideals of justice and equity." This morning, we invite you to give as you are able, and half of our plate will go to the Southern Poverty Law Center. We will be collecting our offering through Realm. You'll see the slide on the screen with instructions on how to give, and the direct link to Realm is in the chat box to your right. Please designate whether you'd like your donation to go towards your pledge or towards our offering recipient, or maybe half and half. And thank you, as always, for your generosity.
I can change the world with my own two hands. I can make a better place with my own two hands. I can make a kinder place with my own two hands. With my own two hands. I can make
I'm gonna make it a brighter place with my own two hands. I'm gonna make it a safer place with my own two hands. I'm gonna help the human race with my own two hands, with my own two hands, with my own two hands.
I can hold you with my own two hands. I can comfort you with my own two hands. But up to you, use your own two hands. Use your own two hands. Use your own two hands.
With our own two hands. With our own two hands.
With my own two hands.
Many thanks to Sarah and to everyone else who ripped up our plans midweek, Thursday morning, to respond to this week with music. As I like to remind us, music is the oil to the doors of our heart. And almost more than anything else, the music helps us to connect with our feelings in ways we didn't know that we could. So friends, here is our world. Beautiful and terrible things happen. Let us keep our hearts tender and our eyes soft and our words true. This is what you and I are about. We know there's no answer but to love each other. We bear witness against destruction. And we gather in virtual community these days to practice being the person we say we want to be. We cannot do everything, but we can do something, and that something is never nothing. Never doubt the thing that you can do. So ring the bells that still can ring, and forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything, and you can say with me, I can see your mouths moving. That is how the light gets in. So I just want us to take another deep breath with me, okay? I want us to breathe in the sacred hour that is this hour. Just breathe in the centering and the space and the listening and the praying and the beautiful music. Just breathe it in. Breathe in spirit, breathe in God, breathe in silence, breathe in reconnecting, breathe in the best of yourself. Just breathe it in. And I want us to breathe out the trauma of the week. I want us to breathe out the images of violence and destruction. I want us to breathe out the terror that we feel from the domestic terrorists who overran our capital, your capital, my capital, our capital, and defiled it. I want us to breathe out in particular the images of white supremacy and the white supremacists who carried a Confederate flag into the dome, which has never happened, not even during the Civil War. I want us to breathe out the president's inspiration to riot, which began not just on Wednesday, but let's be honest, friends, 5 years ago. And breathe out the complicity of Republican lawmakers and the images of the police taking selfies with some of the rioters when not just 3 months ago, some of the same police were spraying mace into the faces of Black Lives Matter protesters. I want us to, do you have any breath left yet? If you do, breathe out all the poison that is in your body and your spirit from what you saw and have felt and feel this week. The thing is that not everyone feels the way that I feel, the way that you may feel this morning. Not everyone feels traumatized. Some are even proud of what happened and promise more violence to come, including even our president. And that, my friends, is precisely the problem. What you deserve from me, your minister, one of your ministers, what you deserve from your church community, what you deserve from all of us who work with you, what you deserve is to be told the truth. Because in this age of conspiracy and lies and hoax, truth is all we have. And truth is the only way that we can help America be America again. Even though, as Hughes reminds us, it never was America for him or for people like him. Amen? Like perhaps many of you, though I want to acknowledge not all of you, because not all of us in our church community and all of you listening and watching this morning have voted Democrat. I know that. I think what happened on Wednesday, though, is not about political party. But like maybe a lot of you, I woke on Wednesday morning after another fitful night of electoral lost sleep. It's a condition that I've developed since 2015. Maybe you've had a similar condition. But anyway, I awoke, or I got more awake as I got more coffee into my system. And I was feeling hopeful about the news that Reverend Raphael Warnock, who is the senior pastor of Martin Luther King's Ebenezer Baptist Church, which is the spiritual and organizational home of the civil rights movement in the late 1960s, that he was to become Georgia's first Black senator in history. He's saying that the same hands that picked cotton now voted for him to become a senator. And he was talking about his mother. And then I was heartened even more as the day went on, as Wednesday went on, and I was doing emails and other stuff, planning for my top 10 sermon, to hear that John Ossoff, who would be the first ever Jewish son of immigrants in the entire South to be elected a senator. But I was taking a pause in the middle of my day, like about 2 o'clock, to go do some errands, to go pick up a prescription at CVS. And all hell broke loose. Our staff text thread like blew up. And I don't know if it was Sarah or Dara or Heather Walker said, "Are you guys watching what's happening?" It's exactly like the story that Heather just read for us. All of like my eyes and your eyes just got suddenly huge. And all of the things that I felt in the morning were suddenly like completely overshadowed. As we all watched as a gang who was organized and violent and angry that they lost the election, laid siege to the US Capitol. Michelle Obama wrote on Wednesday night, "My heart fell harder and faster than it has at any other point in my life." As I watched these people set up gallows on the green and proudly waved the traitorous Confederacy flag through the hall, she said, and desecrate the center of the American government, she said. And like with you, I literally could not believe what I was watching. I am still in shock. But sitting there on Wednesday afternoon, all through the night, the heartbreaking truth is this. I'm in shock. You're in shock. But I'm also not surprised. And I hope you get the distinction. I'm not surprised that after years of Trump's fascist rhetoric and behavior, along with his stand back and stand by affirmation of white nationalists and xenophobes and Proud Boys and complicit political leaders who stayed silent for years and because of a fear that they would cross the MAGA base. Now, if you're thinking, where the hell did Pastoral Nathan go this morning? What happened to him? I want us to know that I am here because the most pastoral, loving thing that I know how to do and that you can do is to tell the truth. We need to tell the truth. We need to seek truth in love, as our covenant says. Telling the truth, my friends, is an expression of love. And so America can't be America again until we tell the truth. And so I want us to engage some of the truth so that you have some words for yourself going forward. The truths are these. Before we can let ourselves be tempted by the siren call of, hey, let's all come together, let's be unified, let's be e pluribus unum, let's be reconciled, let's be healed. We need to reckon honestly and openly with reality that Wednesday's riot was rooted in white grievance and their belief, which is not wrong, that they could act really without impunity. We just need to really, really, as Heather said, be honest about that fact. The truth is this: if you ever needed to see what white privilege looks like, it looks no further like the kid glove treatment that all these pro-Trump rioters received versus the strong arm tactics against the Black Lives Matter protesters. Remember whenever it was, I can't even remember, I have no concept of time. Remember when Trump cleared out all of the people so that he could hold up the Bible in front of St. John's Church and he used mace and tear gas? I want us to remember that. And remember the distinction and the difference. Before we can come together, we need to note the difference. The truth is also this, friends, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. There were nooses out front on the green, as Michelle Obama reminds us. The mob hunted, they had zip tie handcuffs. They were looking for Pelosi and Schumer and Pence, and they wanted to hang them out front. Pipe bombs were found outside the Democratic offices and the Republican offices, the Republican Party offices. As a reminder, for those of you that think that I'm speaking in a partisan way, I'm on the side of love. I'm trying to be on the side of love with you, to seek truth in love. That is the partisanship that I hold. The truth is also this, that the president tweeted before he was shut down that he loved these people. These were great people. And that we should all remember this day forever, not as a day of infamy, but as a day of celebration. But before he sent that tweet, he and his buddy Rudy Giuliani were calling Republican senators who were in lockdown to continue to resist the Electoral College vote. We need to tell the truth. The truth is this: after 4 people died, and then later, I think on Thursday, a 5th person died, a Capitol officer, 147 Republicans still voted to overturn the election results early Thursday morning. If you live in a state that has a Republican senator or House representative that voted that way, my friends, and you hear the truth that I'm reminding you of, maybe it's time for you to call that representative. I have people in Missouri, so I've been talking to my mom a lot the last couple of days. The truth is this: it's all too easy for a white guy like me, a straight white guy, cisgendered, to look at the guy with the crazy horns and the whatever the hell he was wearing, and the fur hat and the tattoos, white supremacist tattoos, by the way, and say, it's so easy for me to say this: I'm not like that. I don't feel that way. I'm not racist. America is still America, without reckoning fully with how Trump's appeal and Wednesday's events are actually rooted in the unreconciled sin of racism that goes all the way back to before the Civil War, and to the ways in which Reconstruction prevented us from engaging the sin of racism. That moment when that guy stood up on, I think it was the Senate president's desk, is connected all the way back to our history prior and post the Civil War. The truth is that we have to know our history. I have heard some say on Wednesday that this, what they saw, is not who we are as Americans. But I need us to listen to the truth. I need us to listen to Langston's poem. I need us to remember what happened to protesters this summer. I need us to acknowledge the truth that this is who we are. This is who we are. It's not all of who we are, but it is part of who we are. And that truth really hurts. And the truth is also this: as Stacey Abrams reminded us on Wednesday night, she tweeted out, "While today's terrible terror and meanness shakes us, I want us to remember," she said, "that today a Jewish son of an immigrant and Georgia's first Black senator will join a Catholic president of the United States and the first Black Indian woman as a vice president in our nation's capital." She said, "God bless America." That's also who we are. So after hours of like watching all of this news and like needing to pull away and not pulling away, I was like the dad in Heather's story. Karen's looking at me like, it's time to put it away. I was like, I can't stop watching it. So I needed to pretend that Wednesday was Friday. I needed to do that. And what I did was, it meant to go get pizza and subs from Basil's in Holliston, which is like the go-to pizza place in Holliston. I always see many of you there, although we don't recognize each other because we're all wearing masks. And it was weird. I hadn't been out and outside for hours. And, you know, it's weird how the world just goes on, isn't it? Like there's still traffic going west on Route 16 and the world goes on. And the lot for Basil's was packed because everybody had the same idea. No one else could think about dinner. And I walk into Basil's and there's the usual, it's like always just, you know, a hum and hive of activity. And the owners are the best. They're just awesome people, and they're immigrants from Greece. And all of their workers are immigrants too. They're from Greece and they're from Brazil and they're from Central and South America. And on one wall of the TV is playing the usual, they have like European football that they're always watching. And the other wall, which usually has like Boston sports, the Bruins or the Celtics or the Patriots, or the Red Sox. But now, no, that's not on now. What's on now is all of the crazy happening, and the ticker parade on the bottom, the ribbon, just breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. And I'm watching all of the workers who are preparing the food for all of these people like me. And I'm watching them as they keep one eye on their work, but they're also looking one eye, not at the football, but on the TV, to see what is happening in this country that they dreamed, many of them, would be the answer to their calls for freedom and for liberty and for opportunity. And I'm wondering what they're thinking. These people who came here dreaming what the dreamers had dreamt. Are you with me? Dreaming what the dreamers had dreamt. Because maybe in their own home countries, they needed to flee the mob of fascism and racism and rioting and instability. And they came here to seek things they could not find at home. And I just kept wondering, what are they feeling now? Are they feeling tricked? Are they feeling lied to? Are they feeling let down? I got to say that that's how I'm feeling. And I'm about as privileged a person as you can find. So I picked up my food and I left, and I left the biggest tip that I knew how to give, because I needed to feel like some kind of kindness and blessing and grace in the midst of all this crap of the day. But the truth is that before I or you can get to a kumbaya moment and we can all come together, you and I really need to reckon with how America has never really fulfilled the dream the dreamers dreamt. And what that means, my friends, is that you and I cannot be bystanders and distant observers or comfort seekers in our response to a democracy that I think I, and maybe you, have taken for granted. I just can't even believe how difficult this year has been. It just is, it's beyond words. And I got to tell you, trying to find words for things that are beyond words is the privilege and the burden of a lifetime. So it is good that we have and the ways that we do that, we are reminded week in and week out with the words of our covenant that has been said and held the glue of our community together for centuries. It reminding us that love is the spirit and service is its law, as we strive to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. There is literally no other place to begin than there. I love each and every one of you, and I want to thank you for showing up this morning for yourself and for each other. We're going to sing now together, One More Step, because that's the only way we know how to start. One more step.
One more step, we will take one more step till there is peace for us, and everyone will take one more step.
Our benediction again from Langston Hughes. America will be out of the rack and the ruin and the rape and the rot and the lies and the stealth. We, the people, must redeem. We must redeem the land and the plants and the rivers, and if I can add, redeem each other. All the stretch of these great green states, and we can make America again. Let us say together our call to ministry. We go forth into the world in peace to act with works of love, to affirm each person's dignity, and to cherish the living earth. You are loved, you are loved, you are loved. Stay for coffee hour if you'd like to after our postlude.